Hi, my name is Belinda Ejikum. I'm a mom of 2 boys, a 3-year-old toddler, and a 3-month-old baby. I was about to get married, and I decided to go to town, Accra, with my sister to purchase a few things towards the marriage preparations. So when we got to Accra, you know Accra, you park your car somewhere, you have to walk. So I was walking and I was so tired. Like, that's not the normal me. I was so tired. To an extent, I told my sister I want to sit on the floor, like I want to sit down. You know Accra is busy, you won't find anywhere to sit, no chair, nothing. I was like, no, I can't go again. I'm so tired. My sister got me water, everything. To understand that we had to stop whatever it is we were doing and go back home. So we came back home. I really didn't understand why that happened. I couldn't walk, nothing, with fast heartbeats and all of that. So I didn't even go to the hospital. I didn't decide to go to the hospital. I just decided to check at home. So I just got a test kit. I got 2 of them. I checked and I found out I was pregnant. But I was already going to get married. So yeah, that was how I got to know I was pregnant. After I checked, I was just there normal. I got to like 6 weeks. That was after the doctor had told me I am 6 weeks. I visited the hospital. The doctor told me I'm 6 weeks pregnant, blah, blah. Then I came back home. A normal pregnant woman. Then I began to feel nauseous. And okay, it was fair, it was okay. Then I think when I was 8 weeks, the nauseousness became very serious that I couldn't even drink water. Even if I swallow, excuse me to say, my saliva, I would vomit it out. It was that serious. So it would come, I'll go to the hospital, I would be on admission. I can't take anything, not even water. So I was diagnosed and they found out I was having hyperemesis gravidarum. I think it is a condition with pregnancy. It's not like the normal nauseousness. This one is quite intense. Yes, so I was diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum. So I was there. That one, you depend on infusions, IVs. So I was just depending on IV to feel a little better. The IV was not even, it was just managing you. With that kind of condition, the IV is just managing you. So you always have to be at the hospital. So I was at the hospital, like I'll be there for like, let's say 5 days. I'll come home for like 2 days. When I come home, I'll think I'm better. The doctor will tell me, no, Belinda, wait, don't go. I said, I want to come home. I want to be home. Then I'll come home. Exactly 2 days, I have to go back to the hospital. I came home to get married, like straight from the hospital. I came home straight from the hospital to get married. We did the ceremony and everything. After ceremony, I went back to the old me till like I was 4 months. Yes. That was how rough my journey was. And after 4 months, yes, you would still vomit and all of that, but it's not that intense like your first trimester. It's not intense like your first trimester. So that was basically how my journey was. And I was doing this together with taking care of home, together with going to school, a whole lot. Together with running a business and all of that. So it wasn't a joke for me. It wasn't a joke. The day of my labor, it was a Friday. I was home alone. My first son had already gone to school. So that day, I even drove to pick him from school. So I went to pick him from school. I wasn't feeling anything, but my son said he wasn't going to eat from the house. And already I was feeling lazy. So I just said, okay, let me buy food. So we bought food from a close by restaurant Then we came home together, we ate and everything. I took his bath for him and everything. And we came to sit in our hall. So in the process, he fell asleep in the couch, and I was in the other couch as well. So I was just there, and I was feeling very uncomfortable in my stomach, like I want to use the washroom. Like I can't even explain how it felt like. It felt like I want to use the washroom. It felt like, no, you don't want to use the washroom. Your stomach is hurting, like it's just hurting, that kind of thing. And I finally said, okay, let me use the washroom and see. I used the washroom, I came out, and I live with my brother. Normally, my brother on Fridays, he closed from work around, he gets, like, let's say he gets home at 10 or after 10. But that day, I don't know what happened, he came home around 7. And that was around the same time I was feeling, I didn't even know it was labor, because the first one, the labor wasn't like that. So I just came out of the washroom, standing in front of my bedroom, and I started feeling the labor, like the contractions. And it wasn't like the first one. The first one, I think the labor was quite slow. And when the labor is quite slow like that, you contract, then you'll be free for a longer period of time before another contraction sets in. But this time around, I was just contracting. So I told my brother he should request a car. My brother requested a car. Then we decided to go to the hospital. And I called my sister, who was close by, because there is nothing a man can do. Like, he's just a young guy. So he has no experience. So I called my big sister, who was close by. Unfortunately, she wasn't available. Then I decided to call my mom, knowing very well that she was nowhere close. I just felt I had to call her. I wanted to take my bath because I had not had my evening bath. And I didn't know how I was going to open my legs when I had not bathed. My mother was like, so my husband came, and we just sat in the car and we went to the hospital. So I was still having my contractions in the car. I was having my contractions. There's a nearby hospital here, but I was like, no, this is not my hospital. So I wanted to go to my hospital, where they took care of me when I was having hyperemesis and everything. They know my pregnancy, my real pregnancy journey. So that was where I wanted to go. And the way the contractions were, I also knew I was so close, because the first one wasn't like that. The first one I had like 16 hours labor contractions. But this one, the way it was coming, I felt, no, I had dilated. So, but I still wanted to go. So we were speeding up. We got to the hospital. They got me a place. I was in there, and now the labor was something I can't even describe. It was, I think it was even worse than the first one. So there we were there, and so the midwife will come, check for dilation. We'll go back. The midwife will come, check again for dilation. At a point, I was like, no, you are not checking me for dilation again. I can't do this, because the pain and everything. It takes a woman who has given birth to understand how it feels when you are being checked for dilation. It is not a joke. So I was crying, begging the midwife, no checking of dilation. She would come, I would scream. It wasn't a joke. And I think when I got to the hospital, 2-3 hours, I was 10 cm dilated, and I had to push. And they had to set the bed for me and everything. I couldn't even stand. Like, labor is something, is a pain on another planet. So it was time to push, and I don't know, I don't remember my water breaking, but then I think it was forced to break. So I think they pricked something. So when they pricked something and they saw meconium. Meconium is the baby's poop. Like, the baby's poop had mixed with the amniotic fluid. So there we knew there was an emergency. And whenever I'm pregnant, one thing I do is I read very wide. So and the whole thing is that my husband called our relative who was also a nurse to come over. So she came, and if not for her, I didn't know what was going to happen, because the midwife at that point was just one at the hospital. She was alone on duty, and there was someone else hemorrhaging, so she was quite confused. She didn't know whether she was supposed to come to me or go to the one hemorrhaging. She was just so confused. And fortunately for us, our relative, who was a nurse, was present. She was standing in as my mom. Yeah, because my husband too couldn't do anything. I don't think he has that experience. So he really couldn't do anything. So she had to stand in as my mom and everything. So immediately the midwife pricked, and we saw the baby's poop mixed with amniotic fluid. I knew there was an emergency. The midwife knew there was an emergency. Everyone else knew there was an emergency, and I had to push. So I was asked to push, and I pushed like first one, second one. Because I knew it was an emergency, I had to do everything possible for baby to come out. So I pushed first one, and I used all the strength in me to push the second one, and immediately baby came out. I did 2 pushes. So immediately baby came out, we realized baby was blue, and the umbilical cord had it had tied his neck twice, which is also an emergency, and he had swallowed the meconium, which is the amniotic fluid mixed with the baby's poop. He had swallowed it into his lungs, so baby couldn't breathe. And when a baby can't breathe, it's another issue on its own. So we had to do everything possible to bring that the meconium out of baby's lungs, and midwife was on it. They were doing it, and baby wasn't responding and all of that. So the next thing I heard was "Monso Alpha Awano." The midwife shouted "Monso Alpha Awano," and I think my husband connected to Alpha Hour or something, and baby responded. Like, I don't know how. Me, I'm not an Alpharian, but I don't know if the midwife is an Alpharian. My husband is an Alpharian too. So immediately, not immediately, but within a short period, baby was responding and everything. But then we still had to put oxygen. We still have to help baby breathe very well. So baby was on oxygen, and we had to be transferred to NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit. So we were there, and I think 5 or 6 hours after delivery, we were transferred to the NICU. Yeah, so that was what happened during labor and delivery. I normally make sure I wake up around 3:30 a.m. Then I breastfeed the little one for like 30 minutes. So immediately it's 4 a.m. I take my shower, maybe roughly 4:30 I'll be out. I get straight to the kitchen, then I prepare breakfast. Normally he takes this cocoa and those beverages, the heavy one, not the Milo. So I prepare his breakfast, then I prepare some hot water for him to take his bath and everything. So after doing everything, maybe I would arrange his uniform, his shoes and everything, because you know how toddlers can be. So I make sure I do all of that before I go and wake him up. So when I wake him up, we pray. We have this normal prayers we say. His is in the morning, early in the morning. We sing it and everything, we pray. And my boy, I've taught him a few things, a few affirmations, like something he has to say. I'll be like, Ethan is, then he'll say Ethan is smart, he'll say Ethan is strong, he'll say Ethan is big, and Ethan is fearless. Yes, so we do all of that, then we take our We go to the washroom, we brush our teeth, we take our bath, we wear our uniforms and everything. You know how it's not a smooth process. With toddlers, you wouldn't have it smooth. So we take our bath, he takes his breakfast. Then I had to, because of the new baby, I had to just register him on the school bus. So we take our bath and everything, eat breakfast, do everything. Then the bus comes around 6:30, picks him up, takes him to school and bring him back to me. So that's basically our morning routine. So when my toddler begins to throw tantrums, first of all, I asked him for an explanation. What is going on? Why are you angry? Then, because he's a toddler, he can speak and all of that. He'll tell me something small. Then I'll try to calm him down. Okay, don't be angry. It is normal. I don't try to blame him. Yes, and I don't manage tantrums using the cane or anything. Nah, no, I don't do that. So I talk to him. Then I try to distract him. Maybe I give him my phone when his tablet is around. Maybe I give it to him, watch cartoons. Wherever we are, sit down, watch cartoons, don't be angry. It's not a good thing to get angry and all of that. So I'll just distract him. And it works. Yeah, so that's how I manage tantrums. My approach to discipline. Okay, so personally, I don't like using cane or my hands on my toddler, because I believe when you beat a child too much, he gets used to it. At a point, he knows what, you just beat me and we are done. So I just talk to my child, don't do that. If you do that, this is going to happen, that is going to happen. And also with my boy, I have a particular cartoons I make him watch. And that cartoons is all about discipline. It's all about discipline. I think it's called Sheriff Labrador or something. It's all about discipline. So I'll be like, Labrador says, then he continues. Maybe Labrador says, don't do this, he continues. Okay, Labrador. So that is basically it. It's not anything, yeah, it's not anything too difficult. Okay, so personally, my boy, he always tells me, Mommy, I don't want to go to school. Mommy, I don't want to write and all of that. I want to go and play. I want to go to the playground. I want to go to the water park, blah, 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 blah. Then I tell him, I have told my child what I want him to be. I know he's a small boy. I believe when you let them know, okay, this is what I want you to be, I believe they pick it up and they work on it. That's my belief. But when you leave a child, okay, do what you want. I know at a point when a child wants to go his own way, maybe I want to do this. You don't have to impose it on him. But then I think it helps when they are little and you start, I don't know how to put it, but you let them know this is what I want you to do. When you become this, you get this and this and that. Like the advantages of being this person. So I told my son, okay, I want you to be, I don't want to mention what I said to him, but I want you to do this. So whenever he says, I don't want to go to school, I tell him, you don't want to be this person. You don't want to be the biggest person. You don't want to be respected. You don't want to do this. If you don't go to school, you can't be this. If you don't go to school, you can't do this. If you go, all the advantages, I'll mention all the advantages. Then he'll be like, okay, Mommy, I'll go to school. Then I'll tell him, go to school. On Saturday, we'll go to the water park. On this, we'll do that. So that's how I encourage learning when it comes to my toddler. Personally, self-care is #1 for me. I know I have to take care of myself. I don't have to, because I have 2 children, I have to look wretched and all of that. I make sure I arrange my things, or I do everything in order to get time for myself as well. I have to sleep. I have to go on the internet. I have to like listen to music when and as and when. So I have like I have apportioned everything I have to do, so I make time for myself and those things that make me happy. Because after all, I also need to live and still look beautiful and all of that. So self-care is A1 for me. Motherhood, it has changed a lot. Right now, I don't used to go out with my friends like I used to do when I wasn't a mother. When I wasn't a mother, we were everywhere, not everywhere per se, but like we make time for ourselves after every, let's say 3 months, we sit out, we party, we eat, we dine, like all of those things. We used to do all those things, but the moment children came in, we don't do those things unless, of course, maybe one of our girls have reached the milestone. Let's say maybe she's 35, let's say she's 30, those kind of age. You see, there are some ages you'd be like eager to celebrate. So we only do those things when someone has reached a milestone. So almost everything has changed. Motherhood has changed everything. The way my friends used to call me when I wasn't a mother, I think they call 2 or 3 times and you'll be like, "Mefre obaka." Then my name say Omaye Basa na something, I don't know. So they have stopped calling like they used to call. And with my partner, it hasn't really changed anything because he goes to work, I go to work, then we all come home late. Then yeah, we are just, it hasn't really changed anything when it comes to my partner. But then with friends, it has changed a lot. They are giving me that space, yes, to take care of my children. That's how I see it. I don't see it as, I don't see it the negative way. I just feel they are giving you space to take care of family. That's all. So yes, there are changes, but not in a bad way. Wow, sleeping. The moment I get my free period, I have to sleep. I have to, okay, so me surfing the internet is like a therapy for me. When I'm not happy, when I'm kind of a little depressed, sorry, you know, after childbirth, there are times you are depressed and all of that. When I'm feeling that kind of way, I just surf the internet. Sometimes too, I design clothes I want to make. Like, I don't make clothes, but maybe a designer will make them for me. I can illustrate. Yes, I'm quite good at those things. Yes, so that's what I do. It's like a therapy for me. My mom will advise you to have time for yourself because maybe she's the experienced one and she knows why she's telling me to have time for myself. Yeah, so I think that's the best advice so far. She tells me to have time for myself, not all about the children. Yeah, and also have time for my husband. Going to the beach. Yeah. Okay, so my go-to kid-friendly recipe is potato salad. Yeah. My son loves vegetables, so I just make it quick. Motherhood is a beautiful thing, and it changes everything. Surprisingly, it changes everything. The person you are not, you have to be. Yes. So that's basically the surprising thing about motherhood. Do you want me to explain or something? Yeah, so the reason why I'm saying it changes everything is that the moment you become a mother, your way of thinking changes, your way of dressing changes, how you would respond to someone, let's say someone outside, provocation and every other thing changes because you prioritize your children, you put your children first in everything you do. Let's say even your dressing changes. So with motherhood, everything changes. Let's say with this boy like this, I can't go out wearing maybe a turtleneck or something. Yes, your dressing has changed. You have to always wear a breastfeeding free clothes and all of those things. You don't have to respond to everything outside. You have to put your children first and all of that. In as much as you are trying to make time for yourself and everything, with motherhood, everything is different. Your style of thinking, everything you do, your children first. Everything you do, your children first. Yeah. Okay, so I think Dr. Louisa, yeah, Stoneboy's wife, yes. Because I just like the way she brings her children up, the way they carry themselves outside, the children especially. I think the woman is doing a fantastic job right there. The way their expressions and everything, yes. So, and I followed her to realize that she makes the children speak their local dialect, which is the Ewe, Stoneboy's local dialect, and they speak very good English as well. So I'm wondering how she does that. She tries teaching them other languages, the way they carry themselves and everything. It's so beautiful to watch. It's so beautiful to watch. They are out there, yet they are private. That's how I see it. They are out there, yet they are private. I don't do books when it comes to parenting, but then on Instagram, I follow some pages that talks about parenting. Even your page, DromoBaby, yes. So I hear a lot about DromoBaby. Whenever I'm pregnant, I resort to DromoBaby. I listen to people's stories, gather one or two to take care of myself and all of that. Yeah, and other midwife Sally and some other people on Instagram. So I do basically Instagram when I'm pregnant and in the parenting process. Sorry. So it's basically in Instagram. Prom prom. Yeah, the beaches along the coast. Yeah, so I enjoy prom prom. My biggest challenge I have faced as a mom was when I was pregnant with my second child, and I always have to go to the hospital, like be at the hospital, and my son had to be home. At the same time, my mom had to come over, but my mom had to be with me and also be with my son. It was a very difficult one. It was a very, very difficult one. And being at the hospital for like 2.5 months, my son crying, he wants to be with me, mommy. It was so, I wasn't even healing because of that. It was so rough for me. Yeah, I think it's so far the biggest challenge. Whenever we step out, my child is very vocal. So whenever we step out, he makes me very proud, like, yeah, you are doing it. He speaks well, his tenses are good and everything at age 3. Like, he's not even shy of anything. Like, he's there. He's always there. He makes me happy. He speaks well. He speaks good English. He's disciplined and all of that. So yeah, it makes me feel proud. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm working. Yeah, so those are my proud mom moments. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. You should resort to parenting tips on Instagram. If you're a book reader, you can read books. You should have time for yourself as well. Self-care is very important. You should prioritize your self-care as well, so you don't outgrow your age. Yeah, parenting, motherhood is a bittersweet something. So you should have time for yourself so you don't outgrow your age. Yeah, don't kill yourself.